This is Seeking Catharsis. Today I want to talk about protecting my peace. This is something that has been incredibly important during this time since I've been back. I live alone, which is great. So I don't have any abuse in my home. And one of the things that I've done recently is I've made my home a sanctuary. So I have spa music and nice ambient lights and plants and sage and Palo Santo and rosemary, all types of good smelling things that make me feel really protected. And that's really important for me right now. On a daily basis, I'm exposed to a person who has caused me great harm and still hurts me. I haven't healed yet, and I don't think I'll be able to heal fully until I no longer have to deal with him and interact with him or rely on him in any way. So I'm not at a point where I'm able to move forward with my life in a healthy way. So what I've done instead is try to maintain my distance. I spend a lot of time alone. I was already an introvert before this happened, and I did get a lot of creative time when I was alone. It allowed me to think clearly and to just be more creative, essentially. But now, after the pandemic, after spending over a year by myself with very little human interaction, it almost feels safer to be in my own space by myself. It's nice to be back in the city. It's nice to see people and to hear movement and to have the option to go places and to see people, have people around me to visit with and to do things with. But the reality is, since this has happened to me, I have had a very difficult time being around a lot of people or even small groups of people in social settings. It's been very difficult for me to be out to do things like going out to brunch or lunch or coffee. All of those things, which used to be normal parts of my life, are so much harder now. And part of that is because I am been diagnosed with PTSD. And I have a lot of triggers. I have so many triggers now. Music, laughter, seeing people happy. It's really hard. And I try to work through it. I try to accept invitations when I'm asked to join people. But the entire time that I'm out, it's really hard. I try not to ruminate about it or let it stop me. But when I'm out most of the time, I just want to go back home. I just want to be back in my safe space. And that's been really hard for me because I was hoping that by being back here, I would it would happen naturally. I would automatically want to be out. And I've tried to go for walks occasionally. And I've tried to get used to being around people and out in spaces and, being able to walk and feel safe. But it's really scary for me. And I don't know, I don't know how to fix that. I think part of it is I have this tremendous feeling of being alone. Like, what I'm going through is so lonely. It's so hard for people to understand. That when I'm walking or when I'm with people, I go back to my inside. I go inside in my head and I'm trying not to remember the times that I felt safe. And I think that's the main issue, is the complete and utter lack of safety that permeates my life. It's so much easier to be home in my space where I can see stuff out my window and hear noises on the street and see birds and look down and see dogs. But when I'm outside with them, it's like I just want to go back home and not be in it because I don't feel ready. So I try to maintain my peace by spending a lot of time alone, working, minimizing contact with my husband. I don't call him or text him just to say hi or to check in on him. I don't do any of that. I don't worry about what he's doing or who he's doing it with. I don't have social media, so I don't look him up or his circle. I'm very safe with how I engage with the world. But it's an avoidance. And I guess that's where my PTSD comes in. I avoid experiences and situations, and this whole city is a big memory. Like, I live in a place where I've dated one person for the entire time that I've lived here. And we started dating the same week I moved down here. We had met earlier, but we had our first date the same week I moved down here. I never dated anyone else, so the years that I've been here, it's just been memory after memory. Everything is associated with him, whether it's a happy memory, a painful one. It's tough. So I think I do a lot of avoidance. If I'm riding past a place that has a memory, I look away and close my eyes. And I often wonder how long I'll do that, if that's something I'll have to do forever, because it's so painful. Or if I'll eventually be able to walk through the streets and feel like a regular person. I think what makes it a little bit more difficult for me is those interactions where he and I have to show up together for meetings or events and play a role like we're together. It's very harmful to me. And I do it because we never talked about what we're telling people. We've never agreed to anything. When people ask us where we live, he'll say one place and only one of us lives there. And it's, I just feel like it's just a facade. So part of my safety, maintaining my safety, is avoidance of people who I might know or who know me or know us. If I'm home, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with intruding questions about what I'm doing over the weekend, what we did last night. Just those simple questions are so complex because they're never the same answer. So I maintain my safety by isolating myself, because there's been a lot of damage. There's the damage that was done to me by the emotional and psychological and financial abuse from my husband, from the humiliation of what he was doing in front of people and how he was disrespecting me soon after we got married, and also knowing that he had been doing this for years and basically everyone knew, and not knowing what the story was, that what it's been, if people have been looking at me like a fool this whole time. I'm so self-aware now, self-conscious, and I just dread bumping into people that know us, because I never know what to say, because he has no respect for my privacy. He has no compassion for me and what I've experienced. It's like he beats me to the punch. He tells the story, our story, my story, to people, and then he doesn't tell me, and then I'll get little tidbits. People ask me where I am now, and that question shouldn't come up. No one should know where I am. It was a pandemic. No one was seeing anyone. And these are people that I'm not close to, so they should not know that I wasn't here or that I was anywhere. And so I dread those interactions, because there's no sanctity in this marriage, in this relationship. There's no privacy. There's no privilege. Marital privilege. He's shared so much of everything. So I deal with that. I deal with the fear of bumping into him with a date that he might be on. I deal with so many triggers. They're just, I can't even explain them, but so many things trigger me. Music, laughter, places. I don't get triggered at home. I don't. There's so many things. I can control so much here. I don't have a TV. I don't have to listen to music. I can choose what I listen to. I can filter and censor everything that I absorb. And I think that, to me, it's like the ultimate control when you've had so little control over your life for the past 2.5 years, where so much was out of my hands, the way I was being treated, the stories that were being told, the way I was feeling, the confusion, the lack of support. Like, those are things that I couldn't control. I couldn't control where I spent my time for over a year. I was stranded in a place I didn't like. And I'm finally back in what I consider to be civilization. And I'm not able to really enjoy that. So it's a really weird experience. And it's weird. It's not, it's every time I go out, there's something. If I go to the nail salon, sometimes they're playing music and I can't deal with it. Because every song that's played is about love. Being in love or being brokenhearted. It feels like it, at least. And I envy how people can listen and not seem affected and seem to enjoy it. And, I go to the doctor's office and they're playing music and I'm like, oh my God, like, would I be a weirdo if I were to tell them, hey, like, music triggers people. Maybe you should have no words. And it's like, I can't do that. I can't walk around this world telling people to turn down their music or to play music with no lyrics. I have to be able to survive in this world. And right now, like, the best part is to just be in my home, in my safe space, where I could have the option. I can see, I leave my shades all the way up and I can see the sky and I can see my neighbors and the beautiful things happening in the street. But then I have the ability to retreat. And my building has a lot of different amenities that are for the residents only, and that also makes me feel really safe because I don't have to worry about traveling to get self-care. And sometimes I stay in my building. I stay in my apartment, but I stay in my building, and I spend a lot of time alone. And I think it feels right. It doesn't feel, I don't feel like I am sad when I'm home. I feel safe. And that's a big part of, I think, healing. keeping that safety. The other thing that has been really helpful in maintaining my safety is I moved out of my old space into another apartment, and I didn't tell my husband where I am, where I moved. So he doesn't know where I live right now, and I did that on purpose because I plan to divorce him, and I plan to have no contact with him in any way, and I plan to relocate, change my number, and just start over and not have any interaction with him. And I just feel like he's never going to want to let go. So I've tried to minimize contact with him, and he doesn't know where I live. So if we do have to meet up anywhere, I meet him there. I don't allow him to pick me up or drop me off. And that makes me it makes me feel safe, but then it also makes me feel a little unstable, because I know that he's upset about that, because that means he's not able to control that aspect of my life. And so, I try to just avoid time with him because I don't want to be around him. I don't like him. And I'm realizing that I no longer care for him as a person. I don't feel love for him. I feel like everything we do is transactional, and I'm an authentic person, and that level of engagement is just, it takes a lot out of me to have to interact with someone I don't trust or like or feel safe with. So I try really hard to get safe, and to also try to address my triggers and to be honest about them. And it makes me feel so sensitive, like so fragile, and it sucks. Because when my friends want to do normal things, it's so hard because I'm just like, I'm not ready for that. It just makes me seem so broken. But I am broken. There's a lot of stuff that's broken. My trust. My heart. My reality. There's so many things that are just unbelievably upside down for me. Like, there are days when I'm going through my day, I still stop and I think and I go, did this really happen to me? Did this person I loved really do all these horrible things to me? It still hits me like that, which is also part of the PTSD. It's like I relive it. And it doesn't help that I have to work with him. It's like it's re-traumatizing to have to act like I like him, that I support him and respect him on these client calls, in these meetings. It's like It's way too much. It's too much. And I think that's another reason why I retreat, because it takes so much out of me to deal with him on a daily basis, to be professional on an email and to respond to a text or to answer his call and not have a mood, or to just be fine, or to bite my tongue when I want to say something snarky that's very appropriate but wouldn't really get me far. Or when I have to deal with his moodiness and he's criticizing me or accusing me of not caring about the business or working too much on my other stuff, and accusing me of never caring about him and only caring about money. And I mean, these accusations are just so bizarre. And when he says these things to me, all I can imagine is how he's bad-mouthing me to everyone else in that same way. It's like, if you're saying this to me and you know it's not true, you must be telling everyone this. And it's like just this thought that I can't control the narrative, my narrative. You know, and the more I'm out, the more likely I will see someone that knows me or bump into someone, and who knows, and that's the anxiety that I have now. I'm not someone that really cares about what others think about me. I have a very strong sense of self in general. But this experience has just taken all of it. Like, it's made me so afraid to exist here, anywhere. It's like I just want to disappear and come back like 5 years later when this is all past and I'm better. But I know that's not the way it works. I know I have to be here. I have to experience this. I have to expose myself to pain, to experiences, to memories, to get over it. And it's so odd because I go through this and the trauma of what I've been through is so huge. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. And it's like, it has very little to do with my loving this person and having him cheat. It has so much more to do with the betrayal of trust and the length of time that occurred, over which that occurred. The extent of the lies and the smearing of my character, the sharing of personal details with people who I'm not close to, who I don't like, who don't have any business knowing things about me and him. There's I've been exposed for being human, just for hurting, I've been laughed at. I've been mocked. And through it all, I've just maintained my dignity and my composure, my professionalism. And it is so incredibly unfair that he is getting away with this. That people don't know that this is who he is and how horrible he is to me. I can't share that with anyone, really. So I just avoid it. And I live my life focusing on like the next chapter and getting better in every way. Going to the gym, meditating, getting acupuncture, working on my business endeavors, and just working through getting independent of him. Because when I leave the marriage, I will leave the job because it's connected. And so getting ready for that. That's what I spend so much time on. Like, all I want is to be free of this. I just want to be free of this feeling trapped and feeling diminished and feeling afraid to live, being unable to live and do things that most people can do without even thinking. That's where I want to be. That's what I'm working towards. And I think I've done really well with just how far I've come from being isolated in a different state across the country to coming back here and re-socializing myself and making new friends and connections. And I've done a really good job with doing that, and I'm proud of myself for that. But there's so much unhealed stuff right beneath the surface. That rawness and that feeling of, oh, this is really uncomfortable and I don't like this. I like them. I like my friends. I like being around nice people, but I'm so uncomfortable in this situation. And all I want to do is go home. I want that feeling to stop. That's the feeling. But maybe, I don't know, maybe home is safe. Maybe there's a reason why I just want to be there. But that's where I am, and that's how I maintain my safety and security. I don't tell my husband where I live. I don't allow him or his family to know where I live. I treat him with care and respect. I decline invitations to hang out. I'm really moving towards the end of our interaction in the most respectful way that I can, because I realize he's very sensitive to rejection and abandonment, and I don't want to trigger him in those ways because it'll create a problem for me. So that's how I maintain my safety. And hopefully this time next year I won't have this issue anymore. I'll be able to enjoy life the way that I used to without wanting to retreat. But that's where I am right now, and I'm just gonna keep nurturing myself, and I'm not gonna shame myself for wanting to be safe and finding a space that makes me feel that way and enjoy my time there. I do entertain people, so I do tell my friends, hey, you're more than welcome to come by. I can do dinner. It's like, but I kind of really would rather be in the house, in my house, or inside doing something small than outside, in the elements. And so many people want to be out and about. It's, post-COVID, it's weather's getting nice, and that's the last thing I want. I was actually quite okay with the pandemic and the lockdown. I felt safe in that setting, And I was very disappointed actually when the world opened up again, because that meant that I was going to be one of the few that would still be inside and everybody else would be moving around me outside, and it makes me an other or someone that's abnormal. Whereas for, nearly 2 years, it was quite normal to be isolated, and that made me feel a little bit better. But this is where we are now, and I'm just, trying to make the best of my situation, and trying to heal and work through all of these things. So just wanted to share that. Safety is so important. After trauma, you lose your sense of safety when you get betrayed so brutally and then abused on top of that. It's traumatic, and you don't realize the effects until you try to do the things you used to do and you realize it's so much harder. Like, one of the things I can't do is ride public transportation. I spend so much money on ride shares because I have anxiety about, I don't even know why, but I can't ride the subway or a bus. I don't like to be around crowds. It's really, really weird. It's like I turned into this very vulnerable feeling person. But that's where I am right now, so I'm really trying to work on that and address it, but I'm not going to force myself because safety is so important. Feeling safe is the first step. And I still don't feel safe in so many normal situations. So I just wanted to share that. I know that some people don't really understand what this feels like. And then there are a lot of people that may understand what this feels like. The absolute terror of having your world turned upside down and having to navigate the world and be safe and to survive, to do things that you need to do to survive and to expose yourself to danger on a daily basis. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. But I'm glad I got this out because I was having a hard time getting in touch with my sadness. I couldn't cry for months, and now I'm in a place where I can, and I needed to get that out because I was feeling so very numb and unsafe. So thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Thank you.